Careblazer, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about a symptom that 98% of people with dementia experience. My bet is your loved one right now is experiencing these symptoms. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be on this channel at all. So that's what we're going to talk about today. If you are new here, welcome. I'm Dr. Natali, a board certified geropsychologist. On this channel, we talk about all kinds of things related to dementia, and the whole goal is to make dementia caregiving easier for you and to put the care back into caregiving. And if you've been following me for a while, I promise, this is the very last video I'm ever going to do in this space. It's very strange, it's very weird. I don't have my typical setup. I have a weird microphone, and despite me leaving my home, because there's lots of construction and noise happening at my house right now, I'm hearing construction and noise right here. So we're just gonna roll with it. It's more important that you get this information. So let's talk about today's topic. 98% of people with dementia experience this. What is it that we're talking about? We are talking about behavioral and psychological symptoms of dementia. These are things like agitation, restlessness, anxiety, sleep difficulty, depression. And why is this so important to talk about and to know what to do? Is because when people experience these symptoms, they are more likely to be placed in some sort of care facility, like a nursing home, earlier than people who don't have these symptoms. They lead to increased hospital stays, higher caregiving stress and depression, reduced quality of life for both the person with dementia and the caregiver, not to mention possibly lots of different medication trials to try to figure out what we can do about these behaviors. It's very stressful for the person with dementia and the caregiver. Makes perfect sense when we think about the symptoms that we're talking about. But there's a revolutionary approach that you can use to help work through when somebody you love with dementia is having frustration or distress. It's something called the DICE method, and we're going to break that down. And my goal and challenge to you is for you to try to use this sometime this week. Now, why is this such a big issue, first of all, like with all of these behavioral and psychological symptoms? Well, it gets really tricky because we can't treat all people with dementia the same. It's not like we have one solution for somebody with dementia who doesn't want to get into the shower and bathe and they get upset when you recommend it. We can't all say the same thing. It's not going to work because we're treating individual people, and individual people respond to different ways. So it's not like all people with dementia have the same reason for why they don't want to do something. And when we think about our traditional healthcare system, while it is wonderful in many ways, it's also not set up to be able to troubleshoot and problem solve with family members what specifically is going on with your loved one in a short 15-minute, 20-minute appointment. It's just impossible to do. So even though the research in the medical community is so crystal clear that medications for behaviors are not a first-line approach for people with dementia, most medications that are prescribed for behaviors are actually not even approved for dementia, and they can increase the likelihood of stroke or death. This is what we do. Despite those things, what is typically done is that these medications are prescribed as a first-line approach because there just isn't the time to try to help the family members during those short appointments. So that's why this approach that I'm going to share with you today is really important, because it gives you a guideline to follow, but it also allows and gives you room to make it personalized for your loved one. So this is where DICE comes in. It's an evidence-based approach to truly help caregivers, including professional caregivers, help manage some of these behaviors. And DICE stands for describe the behavior in detail, investigate possible causes of the behavior, create a treatment plan, and evaluate if the plan worked. Super simple, right? Those are the 4 steps. And like I've already mentioned, the beauty of this approach is that it is not a one-size-fits-all approach. It allows you to be personalized, which is the most important thing when it comes to dementia care. So let's break it down, how it works, and then I'll share a real-life example. Let's start with describe. When we're describing the behavior, we want to describe it in detail. Don't put any judgment or interpretation on it. What specifically did the person say? Did the person do? Who was around? When did it happen? That's what we want to know. Then we want to investigate possible underlying causes of this behavior. Could it be pain, medication side effects, the environment, too much stimulation, not enough stimulation. Maybe they're hungry, maybe they're thirsty. Are there bathroom needs? Is it specifically around a time of day or because a certain person is in their viewpoint? What is it that we think could be causing or contributing to the behavior? Then we have the C, which is to create. We want to create a game plan of what we're going to do to try to test out what we think is causing the behavior and see if it helps at all. Maybe we would change the environment. Maybe we would come up with a reassuring, calm thing to say to them. Maybe we would address an underlying medical issue we think is going on. Maybe if we think it's because of hunger, we would come up with more snacking options. We're just creating a plan. And then the E, really important, is we're evaluating that plan to see if it helped, made it worse, or kept it the same. And then based on that evaluation, we will adjust as needed. Anybody who says they know exactly what to do in every dementia situation, no matter what, and that they know their approach is going to work, is quite frankly just lying, because there's no way to know that upfront. We have to evaluate, and people with dementia change, their symptoms change, they have good days, they have bad days. Sometimes the things that we have been doing that have worked for years, all of a sudden aren't going to work anymore. So we need to be flexible with our approach too. That's where this DICE approach comes in. All right, so let's do a real life example here of the DICE approach and how it would work. And then I want you to try something like this with your loved one. Like whenever they're having one of these behaviors, try to apply it to your situation. So I have a fake person with dementia here. We're going to call her Gemma. Now, Gemma is an 85-year-old woman with dementia living in an assisted living facility. She's usually good-natured, but staff have noticed she becomes agitated in the afternoons. She repeatedly asks to go home or insists on going to church immediately. So that's the situation. Let's apply the DICE approach to see how we could handle the situation. First, we are going to describe. So the staff is going to describe Gemma's behavior. What is it? It's repeatedly asking to go home, repeatedly asking to go to church, pacing, seems to be agitated. Primarily happens in the afternoons, in the common areas of the facility, and it seems to be directed at staff members. Gemma is talking to the staff members when she's saying these things. So now we're going to investigate. So the staff members start to investigate, okay, what could be causing this? Is this possible sundowning syndrome, which we hear a lot about in dementia? Could she be missing some familiar routines at home? Is she feeling disconnected from her faith and spirituality because she's asking to go to church? Are there any physical discomforts and unmet needs? So they discover, after this investigation, asking questions, talking to the family, that Gemma used to attend evening mass daily before moving to her facility. So they're going to go with this hypothesis first, and they're going to create a plan. And the plan that they created is for Gemma to attend a weekly church service. They set up a small altar in her room for daily prayer. They scheduled calming activities in the afternoon, like listening to hymns, and they trained the staff to validate Gemma's feelings instead of trying to reason with her. Finally, they're going to evaluate their plan. So after implementing this for 2 weeks, the team evaluated. They noticed that Gemma's anxiety, agitation, request to leave decreased significantly. She seems more content, especially in the afternoons, and staff report that it's easier to interact with Gemma. So in this case, this DICE approach allowed the staff to really understand the context behind her behavior. It allowed the staff to find a way to address an unmet spiritual need for Gemma. They created a personalized plan for addressing that individual need, and now they are open and will continue to adjust that plan as needed. Most importantly, this approach helped avoid unnecessary medications to try to quiet or calm Gemma because she was being a disruption to other staff and residents of the facility. They were able to address her need in a way that didn't involve trying to just medicate her. Now, you can use the DICE approach program in conjunction with your treatment providers. If your loved one is in an assisted living facility, in a memory care facility, you can even use this approach at home with your loved one. Now, remember, for my Care Collective members, you have access to the Behavior Changer program, which takes you more in depth about how to figure out possible underlying causes, specific ways to respond, what to do when your plan doesn't work, like you've evaluated the plan and it doesn't work, what you can do next. You have access to all all of that in the Behavior Changer program. If you're somebody who is looking for that level of detail and support, then I invite you to check out our Care Collective program, where this is the stuff I work with our members on a weekly basis. We have other dementia experts in there to help work through this with you. We have support groups every week so other Careblazers can share what has worked for them and also give you ideas. I invite you to check it all out. The links are below this video. I'm sending you so much love, and Careblazer, I'm so excited. Next week, hopefully I will be coming at you from my home again. Quiet, nice home with a regular microphone. All right, I'm sending you love. Bye.
Also, Nico gets a belly rub for every person who subscribes from this video. So if you haven't already, click the red subscribe button. It's totally free, and Nico says thank you very much.